Hey guys, Dramatiic here. Now for today's gameplay, I'm using the M249, which is my all-time favorite support weapon from the Battlefield franchise. If you guys know, that is one of my favorite guns to use playing as a support class. But anyways, we're not going to talk about Battlefield. I actually want to get something off my chest first, which is on this channel, I'll only be uploading a certain amount of games. I'm not just going to overload the channel with a bunch of games I only play every now and then. And those games that I'm going to be focusing on are Battlefield, Stalker, Insurgency, and Tarkov. And if there's more games that come out throughout the future, I'll definitely upload them, but that's mainly what my channel is going to be focused on from now on. But anyways, we're going to get into today's topic, which is Insurgency Sandstorm, old and new. Also, another disclaimer is if my voice sounds a little raspy, it is because I am sick. But anyways, we're going to get back to the topic, which is old and new. So for the past couple days, I've mainly been thinking about what was Insurgency back when it was a mod back on Steam and when the community was really starting to grow, like when a lot of the competitive players started to play. What was Insurgency then, and how is it in Insurgency Sandstorm? Well, honestly, there's not that big of a difference. When I play Sandstorm, I get a lot of the same vibes that I got from the original Insurgency. And I honestly want to say Sandstorm is actually a lot more fun than the previous Insurgency installment. I never did play Day of Infamy, which I heard good things about, which is basically a World War II version of Insurgency. But anyways, I think this game has a lot of potential. The optimization they went through to make the part 2 of the beta work well is actually amazing. The fact that they listened to the community and really focused on making each player have the same experience, or at least a similar experience, depending on what PC build you have. There are some stutters here and there still, which does kind of suck, but mainly I'm rocking about 80 frames. I'll drop down to 40 or 60 every now and then, but I'm mainly getting a constant FPS, which is really good for something that's made by a small development team like the team that made Insurgency. And I also wanted to talk about some of the new features that they brought into Sandstorm that was not in the previous Insurgency game. And one of them is the ability to call in support. So you can call in helicopters, you can call in mortar strikes, you can call in gas strikes, and it all depends on how well your team is doing. And there are these people on your team called observers and commanders. Basically, the observer and the commander work together to call in these, not necessarily kill streaks, but things that will help turn the tide of the gameplay. It has no really big effect on the PvP element. It's mainly to, help if you're trapped in a spawn, or help if you're trapped defending the objective. So it's constantly a back and forth concept, and it works well. And especially it works well in the game mode push, which is mainly what I've been playing. Push, I wasn't really that big of a fan of in the original Insurgency, but with this innovation that they brought with the ability to call in these AI controlled elements plus vehicles, it makes push feel like you're actually going into unknown territory trying to get to the objective that you're focused on. Another feature that they added was the ability to breach doors. So there's, I think, 5 different ways, one of which you can just completely open the door. Another one, you can crack open the door and throw a flashbang in. You can kick down the door, kind of like an actual breach, or you can lean against the door and kind of peek as well. So there's like 2 different peekings that you can do, but it makes the game feel a lot more tactical the way it was supposed to be, because the original game, it had its flaws, mainly because it was on such an old engine and the player base was constantly growing. Now, I played the crap out of the mod. I played the crap out of the original Insurgency so much. I never uploaded it, mainly because I just didn't think people on my channel would enjoy it. But since this is more modernized to the modern player, I wanted to start uploading this game because this is one of the first games, at least the original Insurgency, that got me into PC gaming as a whole. I used to have a really bad computer, a really bad laptop, and I played Insurgency and Left 4 Dead 2, and those were mainly the games that I played, and I had over 1,000 hours in Insurgency on that laptop, and then I had an extra 1,000 on my Mac whenever I first started YouTube. But now, since I have a decent build PC, actually a really good one, I have the ability to play a lot of the games I've always wanted to play and get a feel for them. So like DayZ, Arma, and those games are fun, don't get me wrong, but they're so old and they have a lot of flaws. It's just not cut out for me anymore. So that's mainly why I wanted to upload Insurgency, if you guys are wondering, and why I want to upload the games that I mentioned. But the thing is, back when Insurgency, when I first started playing it, there was a lot of competitive players. And they even brought back the ranked mode where competitive players can actually play and get ranked positions in the community. And Insurgency doesn't have a lot of players at the moment. Sandstorm has probably about 1,000 players. But when this comes to console, I feel like it'll dominate the market, especially on PlayStation, mainly because a lot of competitive players, the games they play on console is usually Rainbow Six Siege. And this kind of has a similar vibe, only it's more modernized. There's not as much fiction to it. Like it's based in a somewhat real area, somewhat real war concept, real weapons. The reload animations are good. The gameplay is fluid. Besides the optimization issues that it still has, this game is probably a 9 out of 10 if you guys are wanting a rating. I wanted to do a video mainly because a lot of people aren't familiar with this game, and I really want people to get into it, mainly because I don't want this game to die when it has so much potential and not a lot of players. That's something that happened with Lawbreakers, if you guys remember that game, mainly because of its release. Not too many people knew about it or were interested, mainly because it was a futuristic shooter, but that's the difference with this game. It's a modernized shooter. A lot of people have been wanting Modern Warfare 4 to come out, which who knows, it may or may not come out. But if you guys want a modern, fast-paced tactical shooter, I suggest this game. You don't have to be a completely amazing player to play this game. It has a very easy learning curve, but it has a high learning curve. Like learning the recoil, learning the spawns, being able to be alert at all times, knowing that if you get shot once, you could die. And that's something that you have to get over. You know, I never rage in this game, which is surprising, mainly because the time to kill is so quick. But when you're waiting to spawn in for a next round or a next redeployment, you have the ability to think about how you're going to do differently when you spawn in so that you don't die. Because when you die, it's a punishment. It punishes your team and it punishes you as a player, because you have to sit there and watch and you're not able to coordinate with the other players. Your mic does not work when you are dead, which is something that has always stood out in the Insurgency games, is that team play is hugely influenced. And even people that don't have microphones, like the coordination with the emotes and the spotting system and the ability to call in AI controlled units makes this game a lot of fun, and it's more fluid, and you usually don't have a team that is always winning or always losing. It usually switches up the team every time you play, which is something I really enjoy about this version of Insurgency Sandstorm, is because in the previous Insurgency, I don't know about Day of Infamy, but you could have a team that was terrible and there was no way to switch spots on the team, or to the teams wouldn't get mixed up each round, which is something I really like. And I like that they brought back some sort of ranked play, because I don't think there was a ranked version of Insurgency, but I do know there was pro players and tournaments and stuff, and the community as a whole is just I love the community, even though it is a little toxic and there's a lot of shit that is said in game that is very bad. But if you put that aside, and just play, I usually have people muted, mainly because I know how to play and I know where the spawns are and stuff. I'm able to coordinate with my team without using communication, just by spotting people or playing the objective. I usually win my matches, and it has a unique customization aspect as well. You can customize the way your character looks. You can customize your like your facial features, your camo. Everybody's gonna be looking different as well. And there's no microtransactions. I hope they don't implement that. It is a $20 game, so they may. But the fact that there's a ton of maps already, and in the beta there's already a ton of maps, all of which I don't get bored playing, even though I play them so many times. I still don't get bored playing them. There's different experiences to be had on each map, and depending on your team, it plays differently. And it could go for a long time, or you could completely just push into the enemy spawn and win the match in like 5 minutes. So that's something that's awesome about this game, and why the past Insurgency does not compete with the modern one. I really do think that this game has a lot of potential. I think that it has some bugs that need to be fixed. It has some issues, but the netcode, the hit detection, the gameplay, the fun aspect, all are there. And I don't want to see this game fail. I don't want old fans of Insurgency to leave this game, because I don't think it's tailoring, or it's going towards a certain player group. I think it still has the core Insurgency experience, just some new features that some people may or may not like. But I don't see that as a reason not to play this game. And yeah, that's been mainly what I've wanted to talk about. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys are going to try this game out, if this game is interesting, if you already own it, if you play it, if you have a lot of fun playing it. Let me know in the comment section. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.